Good evening, children. Welcome back to the fourth session of electric charges and fields. Yesterday we have learnt about principle of superposition, which is used to calculate net force on any given charge due to all other charges present in the system. So we have given the statement of principle of superposition as the net force on any given charge is equal to vectorial sum of forces due to individual charges present in the system. We have done one application also to calculate net force on a charge kept at the centroid of an equilateral triangle where the equal and same sign charges are placed at the three vertices of the triangle. So we have come to conclusion that net force on it will be 0. As an extension of application of principle of superposition, I am going to give you one more application which is given in a 2018 paper, that the square of side L, here we have a charge Q, here also charge Q, here also charge Q, and here also charge Q. So you know that all these sides are having equal length. We have to calculate net force on any one charge due to remaining three charges. So let us say we are interested to calculate force on this charge due to, say let us say this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this charge is 4. So we want to find out what is the net force on fourth charge. F4 is how much. Then we use Coulomb's law. Q and Q are equal charges with same polarity. So this Q will repel this Q in this direction. So we write this for F on 4 due to 3. F for 3. Now, second charge also will repel the fourth charge in this direction. This is force on 4 due to 2. You can see that the magnitude of the product is Q square. This is also Q square. And separation between the charges is here L, here also L. So magnitude wise, F 4 2 must be equals to F 4 3. Okay. So let us say this is F23. The resultant of these two, we name it as what? F23. Now, F23 will be calculated as, these two are taken as the two sides of a parallelogram. Resultant will be like this. It is a bisector of these two. Let me write it as F23. So F23 equals to square root of F42 square plus F43 square, where both of them are equal. So therefore this comes out to be F square plus F square under root. So this is root 2 into F. Now, we have calculated force due to this charge on this and force due to this charge on this. And we are left with the other charge which is at this vertex. So this also will repel this along this direction. So this will be L and L. This distance will be root 2L. So this force will be force on 4 due to 1. You can see that F23 and F41, both of them are pointing in the same direction. So therefore, we will write it as F4 equals to F23 plus F14. This is F41. Sorry, F41. Now F23 is nothing but root 2F plus F41 is this one. So let me write as F41 only. Now I will expand root 2 into F, either this F or this F. This will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into Q square divided by separation between the charges L square plus F41, this is 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into Q square divided by square of the distance root 2L whole square. This will become 2L square. Now what is the common? 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0, Q square is common, by L square is also common. Then left over is root 2 plus 1 by 2. This is the net force on charge 4 placed at the one of the corners of the square. So not only on this charge, but force due to on any charge due to remaining 3 charges will have the same magnitude, but the directions will be different. If you calculate force on this charge due to 1, 2, 3, then the net force will be like this. This Q will repel this like this, this Q will repel this like this, net force will be like this, and this will be repelling in this direction. So net force on this charge, we have named it as 2. F2 will be like this, F3 will be like this, and F1 will be like this. So this is how we have to apply the principle of superposition to calculate net force on any given charge due to remaining other charges. Now we move ahead to the next concept in the electric charges and fields chapter, that is nothing but electric field. So next concept is electric field. We have studied about gravitational field in class 11th. Also you have some basic ideas about electric field and magnetic field in class 10th. If you have a charge can produce some field around it, that we can name it as electric field. Gravitational field. Gravitational field is due to the mass of any object. So Earth, because of its heavy mass, huge mass, it produces gravitational field around it. So if you place any object in that field, so without having any contact between the Earth and the object starts moving towards the Earth. So as it is placed in the gravitational field, this object experiences a force which is known as gravitational force, and rather this is a force of attraction. This is the reason why the object will move towards the center of the Earth. Similarly, electric fields can be produced by electric charges. Suppose you have a charge here. This we name it as Q. Around this there will be some space. This space only we define it as electric field. So how do you know that it is extending only up to this sphere? This is a 3-dimensional figure. Suppose if you place a very small charge, tiny charge, which is generally known as positive test charge. It is not a unit charge. Unit charge means 1 coulomb. 1 coulomb is very big charge. To make 1 coulomb of charge, you require 6.25 into 10 power 18 number of electrons or protons. But not that one. So this Q is very small, where this Q value will be tending to 0, such a small charge. So this will help us only to detect the fields produced by some other charges like capital Q. Right. So Q is a positive test charge. This is a convention. Test charges should be always what? Positive. Otherwise you can deal with negative charges also. But all other remaining directions, this thing vector rotations will change. So that is why universally everybody will follow a concept that Q will be a positive test charge. Test charge means whose magnitude will be tending to 0 and whose sign is always positive. Such a small charge I am placing here within the influence of this sphere. Then this Q will repel this Q in this direction. You may get a doubt. Does this Q also will produce electric field? Obviously, it also can produce electric field. That is the reason why we are considering it as small as possible. So Q value tending to be 0, therefore the field will be very minute. So we can ignore the field produced by this small Q. So such a small Q, it's like a compass which has got very small needle whose magnetic field is 0. But it can detect the magnetic field produced by the earth, magnetic field produced by the bar magnet. Similarly, this Q can detect the electric field produced by this charge. So when I keep this Q within the sphere of influence of this capital Q, this is repelled. So this experiences a force. Then I can say electric field of the source charge capital Q, electric field of the source charge capital Q is extending up to this distance. Rather, this is say, I call it as what? R. If this Q is placed somewhere here, very far away, then this will not have any force due to this Q. Then I say electric field is gradually decreasing and finally it vanishes. In fact, where does it vanish? Where does the value of electric field of this source will become 0? Means at infinity. Infinity means not actually the real sense of infinity. It is not infinite value. Compared to the sizes of the charges, if the distances are very large, then that distance we call it as infinite distance. Okay. So what is electric field? How do you define? Means it is space. I call it as space because it is a three-dimensional diagram. Space around a source charge. Space around a source charge up to which its influence can be detected on a very tiny charge like a positive test charge. So this is very broad concept. Electric field is very broad concept. The physical significance of electric field is that it may not have the same value, same strength, same magnitude at every point. Suppose this Q, if it experiences a 10 Newton force here, if I move this Q over here, it will not experience 10 Newton. The force on this Q due to this Q will be less than 10 Newton. And if I keep it here, it is still less than 10 Newton. And here I said it is going to be what? 0. So you can see that the magnitude of the force given by capital Q on small q is gradually decreasing. So it implies that the electric field strength decreases as you move away from the source charge. So there is the point. Here we are very much interested in defining a physical quantity which is called electric field strength. So rather, electric field is a very broad concept. Electric field is to calculate the strength of the field at a given point. Right. So, electric field strength. This is also known as electric field intensity. Electric field intensity. It is given by letter capital E with arrow on the top because it is a vector quantity. So we have seen that here we have a source charge, capital Q. It has some space around it, which we call it as electric field. In such electric field, we have kept a positive test charge small q, so it experiences a force. So now how do you define electric field strength or electric field intensity? Means force per unit charge. Or force per unit charge is called electric field strength. So E equals to F divided by Q, force per unit charge. So this Q will be such a small charge, its magnitude will be tending to 0. So sometimes we define it as limit Q tending to 0, F by Q is equals to E. So the simple definition will be this one only, E equals to limit Q tending to 0, F by Q is also written as electric field strength. But this is enough. That if you say Q is a positive test charge, it's very, very small. Force experienced by this in the electric field of source charge is known as electric field strength. Now you know that force is a vector quantity and charge is a scalar quantity. A vector divided by scalar will remain as a vector. So therefore electric field strength should be a vector quantity. So E is a vector. E is a vector. So what is the direction of this vector? Means it is the direction of the force. What is the direction of force? That depends on how this Q will move. If Q is moving away, then we say electric field is directed radially outwards from the source charge. If this Q is moving towards the source charge, then we say electric field is directed radially inwards. So when does it happen for this Q to move inwards? Unless the source charge is negative, it cannot move towards the negative charge because of the attraction. So for positive charge, it is radially outward. For negative charge, it is radially inwards. So E is a vector. Direction is same as F. Then SI unit. Force is measured in what? Newton. Charge is measured in coulomb. So Newton coulomb power minus 1. So how much is the value of this? Means suppose you have a source charge here, capital Q. I name it as a source charge. Source charge means which will produce electric field. At some distance I am holding an infinitely small positive test charge. At some distance, say R. So this distance is R. Now these two being like charges, capital Q will repel small q in this direction. So this is F. So we will write this F value as F equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into Q by R square. And if you bring this small q this side, F divided by small q equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into capital Q divided by R square. What is this term on the left hand side? F by Q. F by Q is nothing but what? Electric field. So therefore, now we have arrived at the expression for electric field due to a point charge 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q by R square. Okay. Let me not keep this arrow on the top. Let us write only the magnitude. Now we said at the beginning that electric field is a vector quantity. So this is only scalar expression. You have only the magnitude in this scalar expression. In order to convert this into a vector, so you have E equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into source charge Q divided by R square into R cap. Yesterday we discussed that a scalar can be converted into a vector by multiplying that magnitude with the unit vector. So R cap is the unit vector of R square. So Define electric field strength or electric field intensity and express it vectorially means you have to write this expression. Where this 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught is a proportionality constant like Coulomb's law. So this value will be 9 into 10 power 9 and Q is a source charge. It may be 1 coulomb, 2 coulomb, 3 coulomb or microcoulomb also, and R is the distance 1 meter or 1 centimeter or 1 millimeter, anything, and this is unit vector. So expression for electric field intensity is E equals 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q by R square into R cap. Right. So this is electric field due to only one point charge, one source charge, one point source charge. So in a system there can be any number of charges. Then how do you calculate net electric field at a given point due to all charges in the system? So that we call it as electric field due to multiple charges, which is also known as principle of superposition. So now onwards we write electric field means like this. E field means electric field. Electric field due to multiple charges. Multiple charges followed by principle of superposition. Right. Now, here we have one charge, name it as Q1, source charge. I am interested to calculate electric field at this point. Let me name it as P, which is located at a distance R1 from Q1. There is another charge, let me name it as Q2, located at some other distance, which is R2. Here is another charge, Q3, which is also a source charge, located at distance R3. Now I would like to calculate how much electric field all these three charges can produce at this point. Right. Now, Q1 will produce electric field at this point P like this, in this direction. Q2 will produce electric field in this direction. Q3 will produce electric field in this direction. So this is E1 and this is E2, this is E3. So then net electric field E at point P equals to E1 plus E2 plus E3. Is this expression correct? No, it cannot be correct because I did not keep arrows. Now this is correct. Because E1, E2, E3 are not pointing in the same direction, so that I can add them directly like as I do for scalars. So they are pointing in different directions. So you have to follow parallelogram law of vector for two vectors and you will get a resultant. That resultant will make another parallelogram with one of the three electric fields. So final electric field can be, resultant electric field can be calculated. So EP equals to E1 plus E2 plus E3, where E1 is nothing but 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into Q1 by R1P square into R1P cap vector plus second one 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into Q2 by R2P square into R2P cap plus 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into Q3 by R3P square into R3P cap unit vector. Right. Now I can take common 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into Q1 by R1P square into R1P cap plus Q2 by R2P square into R2P cap plus Q3 by R3P square into R3P cap. So this is net electric field at point P due to only three charges. If there are more than three charges involved in the system, if there are n number of charges involved in the system, then this argument can be what? Extended. So for n number of charges, E equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into summation sigma. I am adding all these things. So this will be Qn, because Q1 is there, by, n value will begin with n equals to 1 to n. Qn divided by R1n square into R1n cap. So if n equals to 1, this will be Q1 by, this is R1, here this will be, little change, this is R n P, this also R n P, right. Now let us generalize this. If n equals 1, this will become Q1 by R1P square into R1P cap. If n equals to 2, Q2 by R2P square into R2P cap, like this. So, principle of superposition states that net electric field at a given point due to any number of charges in the system is the vector sum of electric fields due to individual charges. Vector sum of all the electric fields due to individual charges Q1, Q2, Q3. Each field we have calculated and we have added them in the vector form. Right? So this is another important question. State principle of superposition for electric fields and write its mathematical expression in vector form means you have to do this. Right. Then we have applications for this. Let me give you a very simple application for 2 charges only, then you can go for 3 charges. Suppose question number 1, here we have a point charge Q. Okay, let me write as capital Q. And at some distance there is, say, another charge 4Q. Now both of them are separated by, say, a distance R. Locate a point on the line joining these 2 charges where the net electric field will be 0. So net electric field should be 0. Let me name it as charge 1 and this is charge 2. Let me consider there is a point here. Okay, there is a point. Okay, let me take this as, say, 9 centimeter or 10 centimeter, as such, no problem. So let us suppose this is point P where net electric field is going to be 0. Okay. Now this Q will produce electric field here. In which direction? What you have to do to see what is the direction of electric field at point P, you have to place the test charge Q there. So this Q will repel this Q. In which direction? In this direction. This we name it as what? E1. Electric field due to first charge. Then this is the second charge which is having 4 times magnitude greater as compared to this one. This 4Q also being a positive charge will give repulsion on small q in this direction. This is what? E2. So for given point P, for a given distance x, so if this is x and this will become 9 minus x centimeters. So for a given distance x from small q at point P, if E1 and E2 they are equal in magnitude because they are already opposite in the direction. They are already opposite in the direction, right? If they are, both of them are having equal magnitude, then what will happen? Net electric field at this point will be 0. So EP equals to E1 vector plus E2 vector. You can ask me that, sir, they are pointing in the opposite directions, but you are adding them. Yes, I can add them vectorially. They are not scalars, so that I can directly do the things. Now, The electric field at this point should be what? 0. My question is, locate a point P in between the two charges where the net electric field will be 0. So net electric field at this point should be what? 0. Then this will be E1 vector plus E2 vector. Then this is E1 vector equals to minus of E2 vector. So what does it imply? It implies that both electric fields must be equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. Then only it is possible. So if I take the first electric field, the 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into q by x square equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into 4q by 9 minus x whole square. I did not convert them into meters because both the sides, just you are comparing the units, there is no problem. So this and this will be cancelled, q and q will be cancelled. You are left with 1 by x square equals to 4 by 9 minus x whole square. If you take the square root, this will be 1 by x equals to 2 by 9 minus x. Now cross multiply, 9 minus x equals to 2x. So this will become 3x. So x equals to 3 centimeter. This is the answer. So therefore, from small q at 3 centimeter distance, the net field due to q and 4q will be 0. So I will be posting some more applications in the Google classwork. So all of you join. Yesterday I have seen one of you, maybe 1-2 of you, very few. You have started attempting the questions. It's a good sign. Keep the work going on. If you get any doubt, you can post the question in the Google classwork, Google Classroom, so that I can answer you. Thank you.